Hello, warriors. Welcome to the You Movement. My other videos just in the process of uploading, but news to report, my house is sold. It has closed. All contracts previously written are null and void. I've been sitting in this for the last 2 hours in a kind of stunned state because no one quite prepares you how it's going to feel when things don't fuck up, when things actually work out for you. It's still something that I'm getting used to. I don't profess to call myself an expert. I profess to call myself somebody going through a crazy spiritual awakening and a pretty crazy life, actually. And I wanted to hop on because if any of you guys have gone through life similar in energies to me, where it's been a total fucking shit show for a really long period of time, and then things start going well and working out, it's weird. To say the least. It's very weird because my body, my nervous system, everything is programmed to be in hypervigilance and to be in fear. Everything in me. And this process of poking that I talked about in today's earlier video is all about clearing that stuff out so we can vibrate at a higher frequency. And then when we're vibrating at a higher frequency, our life experiences change. And we start to experience things like mini miracles and things working out and people showing up for you in ways that defies reason, or at least the reason of your old existence. You know, people like yourself who are supportive and kind to me, like, you know, blows your mind over and over and over again. My mind's been blown. You know, the miracle that was my tiny house, like just lining up as easily and quickly. I'm still in like, is something going to go wrong? Is something going to happen? Like, are there going to be like major like problems? You know, over there. And other than, you know, a few people blaring their music slightly too loud for my overly sensitive ears, no. And so I've been for the last, how long has it even been? A week and a half since I've been here. It's only been a week and a half. And I've been like, okay, I gotta like acclimatize myself to this wilderness sanctuary. Like, what? And then today I'm like waiting in anticipation for something to go wrong, for there to be a delay, for the person to get mugged on the way to the bank. Yes, that was a fear of mine. I didn't say my fears are realistic. I said my fears are, you know, childhood fears. And so my childhood fears are like, it could be catastrophe. It could be a movie, you know. My life feels like a movie anyways. I really think Sandra Bullock would do the best job for playing me, you know, in some post-apocalyptic vibe film. I could dig that. I could dig that. So I could. And the soundtrack would have to be done by whoever did the soundtrack to The Lord of the Rings. That would work. That would work. Because in the movie that is my life, there's been a whole bunch of evil and negative and crazy experiences that defy most people's sense of logic. Like, most people would be like, that didn't happen. That couldn't have happened. And I'm like, well, it did. It did, which is one of the reasons why I was always kind of scared to share my truths with people, because people wouldn't believe me. And if people didn't believe me, then people would twist it in a way that would make me the bad guy. And that's what happened 9 times out of 10, for a variety of reasons. One, narcissistic, psychopathic, sadist, evil people are sure to spread far and wide the story of who you are. So when you seek out support from family, they've already been tainted with a version of you that isn't you. They've already received years of indoctrination, so they often will side with your abuser. And that in itself is another form of abuse. When you turn to somebody for help and they're like, twist it around and recreate the gaslighting that has already occurred, it's just abuse on top of abuse. And then you go to the medical world and you ask for help and you're like, look, something's wrong and this is what's happening to me. And they're like, oh, well, it's depression. It's you. You have a chemical imbalance. There isn't any like deep dive investigative work into the abuse that's happening that's making you depressed or anxious. No. It's you. It's you. And so then again, you've been gaslit and, nobody's going to believe me. It's my fault. There's something wrong with me. I'm the problem. And then you go to counseling. And I went 30 years in and out of counseling, different types of counseling. I've been to cognitive behavioral counseling. I've been to dialectic counseling. I've been to psychiatrists for testing. I've been to psychologists for different things. I've been to somatic counselors. I've been to specialists in complex post-traumatic stress disorder, except she lived too far away, so I couldn't keep those up. I've gone to trauma counseling. I've gone to counseling for marital counseling, social workers, And I can say 9.5 out of 10 of those counselors perpetuated the problem. Again, not seeing the perspective because they always try to come from a balanced approach, especially from marital counseling. And if anybody's ever attempted marriage counseling with somebody with a personality disorder that is underlying manipulative and evil, then what happens is they put on their charm persona and they all of a sudden become the most laughing and gregarious. And I don't know what she wants from me. She's so demanding. I try so hard. It's not me. I'm just... I'm just trying so hard to satisfy her needs of respect, how dare she make me want to respect her? And so then these counselors are in this energy of he's trying so hard, do you think you can maybe be a little less demanding? Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I should tolerate the abuse more is the message that you're saying. So that's further abuse as well. And then you get all of society in your face and up in your grill going, you should be more forgiving and you need to love and light. You need to you only get one parent. Well, I got more than one. But, or I got some stupid comment the other day that, I need to forgive them because they gave birth to me. Well, 1, they didn't give birth to me. And 2, you didn't know the abuse. And 3, I do not forgive at this point in my life. And that is protecting me and keeping me safe from people. I'm not going to forgive my ex and let him back into my world and, be all like, oh, he had a rough childhood. His mommy was mean to him. That's what I was like already. Okay, I was already in the energy of forgiveness, always, because that was indoctrinated into me, that I needed to forgive everything. I needed to forgive when somebody broke down a door. I need to forgive when somebody's in my face raging. I needed to forgive when somebody's being abusive, or when somebody hit me, or when somebody's laughing at me or ridicule. I needed to forgive. And I didn't need to forgive like in time. I needed to forgive on the spot. Like, oh, like an hour later would pass and they'd be like, oh, you're still on about that? That was so the past. Like, let it go. We've moved on. We're fine now. And so this whole thing with forgiveness is a little bit of a clusterfuck. And I don't forgive. I do not. I am practicing now protection. And forgiveness will come as an energy of nothingness, is what forgiveness will come eventually. After I've processed through absolutely everything. And I had to process through the grief. I had to process through the fear of more bad things happening to me, because I was always fucking forgiving everybody. And giving people the benefit of the doubt and making, oh, they're having a rough go, I'm going to forgive them for showing up and acting weird, or I'm going to forgive them for shouting at me, and I'm going to, no. Okay? Throughout my entire life, I have been gaslit, I have been betrayed, I have been manipulated, and I have been misperceived by absolutely everyone, okay? By absolutely everyone. By family structures, medical structures, counseling structures, societal structures, all propping up the abuser. All siding with the abuser. And I'm not doing that anymore. I am not siding with the abuser. I am not. I am forgiving me. I am forgiving me for having fear. I am forgiving me for having to go through trauma release. I am forgiving me for, having crazy thoughts, paranoid thoughts that, somebody was going to like, mug my lawyer on the way to the bank. I'm going to have those kinds of thoughts. And I'm going to forgive myself for them, because it's not my fault. It wasn't my fault, and I'm doing the best I can. I always do the best I can. Always. And that in itself has been such a difficult journey, because the best I can was never respected, appreciated, or, no pats on the shoulders of, you're doing a good job. No, I wasn't not validated. And I did a video on this, I think, the other day, about anti-validation. It wasn't about, somebody going and ignoring me and saying, you had a rough day, or not receiving, you had a rough day, I feel bad for you. No, it was the opposite. It was like, you did something wrong, you're at fault, you're the failure, your emotions are it's the problem, you must have a chemical disorder, you must be imbalanced, you must, have issues. And I'm saying no to all of that. So I'm forgiving me. I'm forgiving me for all of the ways I've tried to cope the best I can. And I'm forgiving me for struggling with the concept that I'm capable. Okay? So I don't know if you've watched a lot of my other videos, but not only the way I was raised, but even most recently, when I finally cut my mother off, was when she said to me that nobody would love me ever, and that I was making a really stupid mistake to leave my abusive husband, because I was a very difficult person to love. And on top of that, I was incapable of doing anything. I want that to sit in with you for a second. Imagine somebody saying to you that you are incapable of doing anything. Yes. So this is why I'm like, I'm going to prove them wrong. I'm capable of doing this. I'm capable of quitting that. I'm capable of sending this email. I'm capable of cleaning this. I'm capable of doing this DIY. I'm capable. So my whole life, I've been trying to prove that I'm capable. And when you're in an energy of like, I'm trying to prove that I'm capable, and then you still don't get any like You did a good job. I'm proud of you. Like, congratulations. What? You graduated from college with like a 3.95 GPA? That's awesome. Yeah, no, I didn't get that. I got, what are you going to do with this, like, degree or this diploma? It's not going to get you anywhere because it was a college diploma, not a university diploma. So they're like, okay, so you've got this Native Community Worker Addictions Counseling diploma that you graduated with honors for. You can't do anything with it. You're useless. You're useless. So I was told over and over. And then I went to university and my entire world fell apart, and because I went through my first divorce, and I didn't end up graduating. I did 2 years and I didn't end up graduating. And then they just, see, you're useless. You're incapable of doing anything. You're incapable of doing anything. So I was like, oh, okay, I better be a shop girl then for a while, or I better like be a waitress, because, you know, that's about as much as I can manage, even though I had, you know, this education. But they're like, no, you're useless. You're useless. You can't do anything. And so this whole thing with the house and the responsibility of the house, on the belief that I am incapable of doing anything, I held on too long going, I can do this, even though technically I couldn't financially carry the responsibility of the house I didn't actually even want after my son left. So I tried as long as I could, and then I was like, no, okay, so I'm gonna let this go, and then all of a sudden things started working out for me, and I'm like, wait a second here, I gotta rethink this whole I'm useless thing, I'm incapable thing. Let's take a long, hard look at this. Look at all these addictions that I've quit. All these things I've quit. Look at all these things I've healed. Wait a second. Those aren't the actions of somebody who's incapable. And even how I've managed through the most stressful 2 years of my entire life, I survived. I survived shit that was not intended for me to survive. That I know there were people hoping I would not survive. But I survived. And so that doesn't make me useless. Even if all I could manage on a day was to lie in the grass and hold on for dear life, I was capable of living through it. I was capable of surviving it. I was capable of seeing what the game was. I was capable of like writing the legal letters. I was capable of standing up for myself. I was capable of getting in touch with all of my bills providers and letting them know that I was moving and that I would need a final bill sent out. I was capable of getting in touch with the tax office. I was capable of finding a decent lawyer that was also capable of closing the sale of my house. So there's a major shift in reality that's happening right now. And that is, one, I am capable. Might need to send that memo out to a few people. I am capable. I'm not disordered. I'm not the problem. I'm not chemically imbalanced because I have emotions, especially when those emotions are in response to abuse. So everything is kind of opposite to the way that I ever thought it was, and things are working out for me. And, you know, with the programming, the ass backwards programming that has been my life, of not only telling me I was incapable, there were further abuses in trying to indoctrinate me into believing that God didn't exist. So on a spiritual awakening, when you are like trying to reconnect with God and you've been indoctrinated to believe there is no such thing, which I think is a crime in itself. I think that, you know, it's certainly a spiritual crime. Unfortunately, most crimes that are, you know, by man's law, don't add up to the same. But taking a child and depriving them of any belief in anything having their back or protecting them or something greater than them is a horrific spiritual abuse. So it is. And on my awakening, learning to have trust that I am being divinely guided, to trust the process. You know, that's a line a lot of people say, trust the process, trust the process. And I'm like, like, trust the process? Like, the process has been brutal. How am I supposed to trust this process when I've never had trust before in my life? I didn't have trust in myself because I was incapable. That was the program. And I didn't have trust in the divine because even though I was having all these spiritual experiences, I was still like, but wait a second, you know, where were you when? Why didn't that happen? Why did that have to happen to me? And the reality is where I've come in the last few days into integrating is the awareness that I was sent down on a very special mission to see really horrific things, and so undercover I forgot who I was. I forgot what I was. And rediscovering who I actually am has been a very challenging process, because who I was told that I was this. And and what I was told the world was and spirit was this. And the opposite is true. So expanding my own consciousness, expanding my reality into a reality that allows me to be capable and allows the universe to protect me and guide me and have things work out for me has been a test in faith like no other. There's been many times where I've like asked the question that Jesus asked, which is, you know, why have thee forsaken me? Like, where have you gone? Because in the beginning of my awakening, I was hearing from spirit a lot, and then it was like crickets. Like, I'm just supposed to have blind trust now. I'm just supposed to have faith that those magical moments that I recall were something that was real. And where are you now? And what's happening? And why is, you know, so there were so many questions, so much doubt, so much insecurity, so much fear. And I think, you know, that's the real awakening is, it's a difficult path. It's not like, everything is so easy all of a sudden and I can just fall into spirit if you've never had spirit before. If you've never been allowed to fully have absolute faith that things are going to line up for you and work out at the other end, it is exceptionally challenging. Nerve-wracking is what it is. But now I have more proof. And I needed that. I needed more proof. I needed more proof in truth that things were in fact a spiritual law, a universal law. You know, and so that's where I've been is learning these universal laws, the law of correspondence, the laws of, you know, counterbalance, the laws of karma, the laws of provision. And if you look around, like right now, I've got like 3 Canada geese down there just eating something, because it's provided for them. God didn't invent geese and then didn't provide them with the provisions to survive. Equally so, I am being provided with the provisions to survive. A new tiny little house on my own, in my own energy, in my own sanctuary, where I can learn peace and learn what it is to be in flow with nature. I am being provided with the appropriate, finally, legal care to help me close off a horrific karmic cycle with a house that had nothing but bad memories in it for me. And I will be provided with all the other things for all the other mountains that I need to climb coming up. You know, over the next week, that will be clear the debt mountain, and I am being provided with the ability to do that. And then it'll be I'll be provided with the appropriate car and lessons and support that I need to climb that mountain, because I am capable. I am capable. The hardest person to convince of that was me. I never convinced my family, but they don't care. And I don't care that they don't care. They got too long the indoctrination of the other, so they don't even know who I am. And then the finalization of the will cut all ties with the family structure that was happy to look at me as being incapable, flawed. We'll see how flawed I am next year, now that I'm free to finally create. Now that I'm free, or will be free, to fully be in service of God. That's my greatest capability of all, is to never, ever allow the darkness in, despite decades of indoctrination to try to convince me that I was worthless, that I was garbage, and that God didn't exist. I know the truth. I know the truth. So, it's integration time over the next few weeks, and learning new things, living a new life at a higher vibration. It's going to be new. I've never been here before. I've never been this person before. I've never been this free before. Not fully free, but I've never been this free. I did it. Peace. Peace in.